everybody, welcome back. Where today I'm angry. I don't know if it's because, I'm tired from work. I don't know if it's because my shoulder hurts. I don't know if it's because I have a sore in my mouth. But I'm angry today. And this all kind of started, obviously this all kind of started with the last video where I was angry, where I talked about moves that made me angry. And I said, maybe I'll make a video about like abilities that make me angry. And by golly, do I have a list of abilities for you today? I feel like this list is longer than the list of moves. So hopefully this video doesn't go on for too long. If it does, I'm sorry. Please watch all the way to the end because that'll be good for me. Anyway, basically today we're going to talk about some abilities that make me so mad. For reasons other than they're like super broken. I did like send out feelers to see like some other moves that people talked about. A lot of people talked about moves that they didn't like because they were really broken. That's not really the goal here. The goal here is moves that frustrate me or abilities that frustrate me because they don't like make sense or like something like that. If you have any of those, leave them down in the comments. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Before we talk about the first bunch of moves here, we have to talk about Garganical. Garganical has this new ability. I keep saying moves. I mean to say abilities. Garganical has this ability, Purifying Salt. It's a new ability. It says that you are immune to all status conditions. And ghost type attacks basically do half damage to you. I guess specifically they are dealt with a halved offensive stat. But the important part here is that you are immune to all status conditions. All of them. You can't be burned. You can't be confused. You can't be poisoned. You can't be, why am I blanking? Paralyzed. You cannot be frozen because of Purifying Salt. That is, first of all, that's kind of like busted. But also, it makes me angry because we have so many abilities that could be so good if they were just like a little bit better than they are, that are now basically like 1/6 of Purifying Salt. For instance, immunity. Immunity says you cannot be poisoned. Literally, it's like not even 1/6. It's like 1/7 of Purifying Salt. Why? Why did we release an ability that was so many things at once? I'm not mad at Purifying Salt. Like, Garganical is fine. It can have its ability. I'm mad because when Purifying Salt came out, they should have buffed all of these abilities. Immunity, it's like 1/7 of Purifying Salt. Stupid. Ridiculous. All it is you can't be poisoned. Who's ever running this? Same thing for Limber. You can't be paralyzed. Every single Pokemon that has Limber, none of them want to run it. Not a single Pokemon that has the ability Limber wants to run this. Not Toxapex, not Hawlucha, not Ditto, not Grapploct. Okay, maybe Grapploct. But that's because Grapploct has, like, its own problems. Not Hitmonlee, not Liepard. Lopunny, again, maybe, because its other abilities are really bad. But these are not, like, good Pokemon. Not Stunfisk, not Persian. Like, why? Can we buff these? Like, now that Purifying Salt exists, can we buff these a little bit? Like, just a little bit? And they even, you know what I didn't even think about? They even buffed one of these already. Own Tempo says you can't be confused, right? Let's toss it in here, okay? Own Tempo, you can't be confused. They literally already buffed one of these to make it immune to Intimidate. Why did we only buff Own Tempo and not any of the other ones? Confusion is actually like one of the more prevalent status conditions in VGC. Like, this is probably one that needed to be buffed less than, like, immunity. But here it is. You're immune to Intimidate. Why didn't we buff all the other ones? Why didn't Vital Spirit get a buff? Why didn't Immunity get a buff? Why didn't Limber get a buff? I don't know. Because they hate us. And to go even further, Shed Skin doesn't stop you from getting statused. It says you have a 33% chance of having your status cured at the end of each turn. Now this was kind of fair. In a pre-Salt Cure world, this was kind of a fair ability. Because you're not immune to any of the status conditions, we have a decent chance of getting healed at the end of the turn. Decent trade-off compared to, like, Vital Spirit, Immunity, Limber, right? This is just Purifying Salt, but past tense. This is Purifying Salt, but this is a 33% chance of Purifying Salt, and only at the end of the turn. Why? Why did we need to buff this ability too? Because now the ability power creep is out here, making old abilities just so bad. I just want to understand, and we can go a step further because there's an even worse ability. There's an even worse ability. Early Bird. You know what Early Bird does? Do you know what Early Bird does? Early Bird says that your sleep counter drops by 2 instead of 1. So at the very most, you'll be asleep for 2 turns. What is that? Literally, it at the absolute worst case scenario, it shortens sleep by 1 turn. That's like I don't know. That's like half of a shed skin almost. Like what? Why? I just want to understand why. Okay, Dodrio has 3 bad abilities. We're gonna talk about all 3 of them, cause Tangled Feet is not a great ability. Like okay, evasive doubled evasiveness when you're confused. It's kind of cool. It seems kind of fair. None of the Pokemon that have Tangled Feet really want to be confused and like have to fight through confusion to attack things. Does that make sense? Like, this is kind of a fair ability if it was any status condition besides confusion. Confusion is kind of the ones, and sleep. If it was anything but confusion and sleep, I feel like this would be a really fair ability. Now, right as it is, it's kind of like your evasiveness is doubled, but also you have a 1 in 3 chance of hurting yourself. And that's kind of dumb. And then we're going to move on to the next category of abilities, which are not just Purifying Salt is literally like 700% better than you. Abilities with no competitive use. Abilities that literally don't do anything in trainer battles. Runaway. You know how easy it is to make this ability like decent? All they have to do is give it the same effect that it has in wild Pokemon battles. Literally, all they have to do is say, okay, Pokemon with Runaway are immune to trapping effects. They cannot be trapped. You can't be Shadow Tagged. You can't be, binded. You can't be blocked. None of those. Pokemon with Runaway are immune to those. Why haven't they done that? I don't know. Like it'd be a cool ability for Pokemon that aren't Ghost type, because Ghost type Pokemon literally just get to do that for free. It'd be worse than being Ghost type, but it'd be kind of fair for some Pokemon. Now, to be fair, most of the Pokemon with Runaway, like, they're not great Pokemon, but maybe if we were in some kind of crazy like Perish Trap format, actually the Dunsparce is probably the best one. Maybe Galarian Rapidash, regular Rapidash. Thievul. To be fair, the Pokemon with Runaway are not like great Pokemon, so this isn't like a super pressing issue. But like, why doesn't it? I feel like every ability should at least do something in competitive battles. Like items, I can understand because there are millions and millions and millions of items that like wouldn't make sense that Pokemon could use them. Why doesn't Runaway just let you escape trapping effects in competitive battles? I feel like that makes too much sense. That makes almost too much sense. It's like infuriating that it doesn't just do the same thing it does in wild Pokemon battles. I just want to understand. I just want to understand. Next ability doesn't do a single thing in trainer battles. Ball Fetch. What would it do in trainer battles? I have no idea. I think Fufu2 has a video where he says this is what Ball Fetch should do. I don't know what it would do, but Ball Fetch is an ability that does nothing. Of course, there is only one Pokemon that has the ability Ball Fetch. Fair. Yamper is a little baby Pokemon. Nobody's using it in competitive battles, especially not with the ability Ball Fetch. But I feel like they could have made it like kind of a really cool ability for the trade-off that you have to use Yamper to get it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It could like redirect ball type attacks or something. Like, I don't know. But it just doesn't do anything. And I feel like there shouldn't be abilities that don't do a single thing in competitive Pokemon battles. Because there are plenty of abilities that have effects outside of battles that have effects inside of battles. Like, they even like buffed Pickup to have an effect inside of Pokemon battles that's very similar to what it does outside of Pokemon battles. Abilities like Flame Body, like help eggs hatch faster. You know what I mean? Like, man, we're not even done. There are 2 more abilities that don't do anything in battles. Illuminate. You know what Illuminate does? I'm pretty sure it makes wild Pokemon more likely to appear. I think that's what it does. I think it's really stupid. That's a really weird thing for it to do. Let me look it up, double check, because I've never had to use this ability before. I feel like it could, like, I don't know. The wild Pokemon encounter rate increases by 100%. Yes. Okay. It does the same thing as Arena Trap and No Guard in the wild. And Arena Trap and No Guard get to have effects in battle. Why doesn't it Illuminate? It could literally, it could literally be like Compound Eyes. I don't care. I feel like that makes sense. Literally just make it Compound Eyes, or I don't know, maybe like Compound Eyes but for your partner and not for you. Something. It should do something. And we're still not done. There's one more. Honey Gather. No competitive use. What would it do in competitive Pokemon battles? I don't know. But if we're going to keep giving it to new Pokemon, Ribombee is a Gen 6 Pokemon. Like, that's not even that old in the grand scheme of things. Why? Why didn't it do it? I don't know what it would do. To be honest with you, because all it does is every once in a while it'll have honey, I'm pretty sure, which is kind of the same thing as Pickup. Maybe I should just do the same thing as Pickup. I'm okay with that. Like, yeah, sometimes it's frustrating that there are so many abilities that are just the same exact thing as other abilities. Like, they'll show off a fancy new ability like Armor Tail, and it's literally just Dazzling, and it's literally just Queenly Majesty, which is a whole other thing. Why doesn't it do something? Just something. Even if it's a bad effect, just let it do something. Maybe even if it's just if you don't have a whole item, you pick up a honey at the end of every turn and then give honey some kind of weird in-game battle effect. That would be kind of neat. But no. It does nothing. Okay. All right. Coming down off the high of abilities that literally don't do anything, we're going to go into abilities that are actively hindering to the Pokemon that have them. And this is going to be weird, because I think that probably, like, Slow Start and, by extension, Truant, when they were first introduced, they needed to exist, because the Pokemon they were attached to were probably a little bit too good for the generation they were introduced in, and these Pokemon are usually allowed in regular competitive battles. All of that being said, the amount of stats that Pokemon have has increased over the years, and now we are at such a point that Regigigas and Slacking's stats aren't even that good compared to like some regular Pokemon that are allowed in competitive play. I'm looking at you, Paradox Pokemon. I'm looking at you, Ultra Beasts. I'm looking at you, Ursaluna. Like straight up, like, yeah, 160s and these are amazing stats, but you still just go down to a close combat from Urshifu. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a little bit faster than Urshifu, but it's probably not going to KO it, and it's not going to live the close combat unless you run a lot of bulk. And if you're running a lot of bulk, you're not going to outspeed the Urshifu. You know what I mean? I don't think Regigigas needs to have Slow Start anymore. I think we can give Regigigas a second ability. Like, obviously, we can't remove Slow Start. Maybe we can buff Slow Start so that, like, your attack and speed are halved, but your defense and special defense are doubled or something like that. That'd be kind of stupid, maybe. I don't know. But I feel like it's time. I feel like it's time that we let Regigigas have a regular ability. I think the game has come so far that Regigigas is not like the stupid broken Pokemon it once was. I think we can let Regigigas have a normal ability now. I am okay with that. Are you okay with that? I think that's fair. Next, let's talk about Mycelium Might. The ability that exists to nerf Toedscool and Toedscruel just because they have Spore. This ability is so stupid. It's literally just worse Mold Breaker. Literally, Mold Breaker gets to do this for free. Mycelium Might gets to do half of what Mold Breaker does with the drawback. Why? Toedscruel is not such a good Pokemon that it needed to have Mycelium Might. Like, Spore is a great, fantastic move. Base 100 is not a fast speed stat anymore. I'm sorry, but this generation's speed creep is so high that base 100 is no longer a fast speed stat. I'm literally running Urshifu with an Assault Vest and no speed investment on like every Trick Room team because Urshifu is not fast enough to be fast anymore. I feel like most people are not running Pokemon like Urshifu as fast Pokemon anymore. They're slow now. Base 100 on Toedscruel is not fast enough to have this ability be a thing. You can agree with me. You can disagree with me. I don't care. You can say it in the comments. That is how I feel. And if it is not how you feel, let me know. And we can agree to disagree. Slacking. Truant. You only get to move every other turn. Now, to be fair, you can switch out on the Truant turn, which is cool. That works for me. That helps a little bit. And Truant is cool for stuff like Truant Entrainment Durant. But I feel like it is time, once again, to give Slacking a second ability. It doesn't even have to be a good ability. Just give it like, I don't know. Give it like Inner Focus or something. I don't care. It doesn't have to be an amazing ability. Just give it something that isn't Truant. I'll take like, what is a good, what's an ability that's just like neutral? You can give Slacking immunity for all I care. I know I just complain about immunity, but we can give Slacking immunity. Just give it something other than Truant. Because, yes, these are good stats. These were amazing stats in Gen 3. Right now, they're probably still amazing stats. I want you to go pull up what Ursaluna's stats are and tell me that these are, like, on par with Ursaluna. Because they basically are. This is just fast, less bulky Ursaluna. That's what these stats are. And like I said, it's base 100. Base 100 is not a fast Pokemon anymore. It doesn't matter. Like, please. I think it's time. I'm gonna, like, start a petition. It is time we can give Regigigas and Slacking a second ability so they don't have to have Truant and Slow Start anymore. I don't think they need it. I don't think they need it. I don't think that they are so egregiously overpowered that they need to have these abilities anymore. They can still have them, but they can have a second option. Please. Just something. Okay. Alright? Okay. Oh, I'm working myself up. I'm starting to cough. Okay. Next category of abilities. Abilities that are just 1/6 of Clear Body. Not even, like 1/7, 1/8, because Clear Body includes accuracy and evasion, right? Abilities that are just 1/8 of Clear Body. I guess HP is not is a stat you can lower, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7th, 1/7 of Clear Body. If you don't know what Clear Body does, it says you are immune to all other Pokemon lowering your stats. Cool. It's a fair ability. In fact, we have it as an item now. It's called Clear Amulet. We have decided that this ability is so fair that we can have it as an item. Great. Perfect. Why do we still have Big Pecs? Big Pecs is literally just defense. Only your defense cannot be lowered. Why didn't we buff Big Pecs? We need to buff Big Pecs. You know why? Because Big Pecs is 1/7 of Clear Body. I think we can all agree that Dragapult is an amazing Pokemon. Bombardier is not a good Pokemon. It does not need to have Big Pecs. It is not so good that it needs to have Big Pecs as it's one of its only ability options. In fact, not only does it have one of these abilities that are so like bad that it's 1/7 of Clear Body, it has 2 of them. It has Big Pecs and it has Keen Eye, which is just for accuracy. It's the same thing. Now Keen Eye at least has the additional effect that, like, you can ignore your opponent's evasiveness. That's kind of cool. That's an effect within itself. Sure, Keen Eye is a good example of what I think Big Pecs should be. Keen Eye has an additional effect beyond just your accuracy can't be lowered. Big Pecs should have a little bit of an extra effect. Maybe your defense can't be lowered, but you ignore your opponent's defense boost. I think that's fair. I think it's fair. Like, we could do that with all of these. You know what? We have Hyper Cutter. Wow. Your attack stat can't be lowered. You ignore your opponent's defense boosts. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair ability. Like, I guess Bombardier should be your defense can't be lowered. You ignore your opponent's attack boosts. I think that's super fair. I think we should do that. What do you think? Do you agree? Because, like, that's genius. That would instantly make this a decent ability. I don't know what would run it because there are not very many Pokemon with big pecs that would need it. Like, if we buff big pecs to ignore your opponent's attack boosts, right? You know what? It'd be okay on Mandibuzz. It would be okay. It would make Unpheasant a little bit better of a Pokemon. That's kind of cool. Eviolite Corvisquire could maybe be a thing. Because, like, one of the ways to stop stuff like that, because it's like I'm assuming it still gets Iron Defense and Body Press. Sawana, it could be something Sawana does. That'd be cool. Pidgeot could run it. Pidgeot has three abilities that are on this list. 3 of Pidgeot's abilities are on this list. All 3 of them. Oh my god. We need to buff things. The abilities are getting so good. Like Hyper Cutter, what if other things could run buffed Hyper Cutter? Now, Hyper Cutter is in the unique position that, like, it blocks Intimidate, and that's kind of really, really valuable. But blocking Intimidate is an effect that we have just given abilities that already do other things. So I think this is kind of fair. Crabominable. Crabominable with buffed Hyper Cutter might be kind of good. Crawdon with buffed Hyper Cutter could be kind of good. All of these Pokemon with buffed Hyper Cutter could be kind of good. Braviary was just Keen Eye, but I didn't realize that Bombardier also just has Keen Eye. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is Mummy and abilities that are like Mummy. So Lingering Aroma makes me mad because it's literally just Mummy, and we didn't need Mummy again. Why did we make this brand new ability that is just Mummy again? Mummy is not a good ability. This has been proven. We also didn't give Winkleon good stats, so, like, why are we here? Let's talk about Mummy. What Mummy does is it says if another Pokemon makes contact with this Pokemon, their ability is changed to Mummy. Now, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that is only if the opponent hits you and not if you hit the opponent. Let me just double check here. Yes. It is only if you are hit by a contact move, not if you hit the opponent with a contact move. I think that we need to fix that. It should be both. It should be every time that either you are hit or you hit something with a contact move, Mummy should happen. That is enough for me. That makes sense. It changes the flavor. It matches the flavor text. Perfect. That's all. That's my only gripe with Mummy. If Mummy was... it's when your opponent hits you and when you hit your opponent, I think that's fair. Like, it should be that because Mummy is already not a great ability. Cool. Great. Perfect. Runerigus, Wandering Spirit, is kind of like very similar to this. And the reason Wandering Spirit is on this list is because it's very hard to use Wandering Spirit shenanigans because you have to hit Runerigus with your other... if Runerigus could just hit your other Pokemon... I want the same thing to happen with Wandering Spirit that I want to happen with Mummy. I want it to be when either you make contact with another Pokemon or another Pokemon makes contact with you, the abilities are swapped. That way, I think that's fair. If I want to give Runerigus another ability, I don't want to have to Aqua Jet it with huge power, like whatever. I want to be able to hit my opponent and take away their ability. I think that's fair. Because it's my ability, and, like, I don't get to have another ability unless I do that, and I'm taking the ability away from my opponent, and it gives them more, what's the word? It gives them more, too. They get better. It gets better for them, it's better for me, it's better for everybody. Why doesn't it do that? I don't know. It would match the flavor text. The other thing that really makes me angry about Wandering Spirit is it's one of those abilities that just didn't interact with Dynamax. And for no good reason. So if you didn't know, Dynamax Pokemon cannot be skill swapped. And the only reason that Wandering Spirit does not work when Runerigus is Dynamaxed is because it follows the same rules. And it says that you can't be skill swap while you're Dynamax. So this basically does the same thing as skill swap, except like when damage happens. I just make it a little better. Just a little bit. It's such a funny ability. We can do funny things with these abilities. If they were just the tiniest bit a little different. Just a little bit. Please. Just make it when I hit my opponent and when my opponent hits me. It can still be contact moves. That's fine. I'm sure Regigigas has some kind of it has body press. That's enough. Like, it has body press. It has, is that all? Is Poltergeist is not a contact move. Ooh, Shadow Claw is a contact move. That's fine. That's enough for me. That is enough for me. Just please, for me, please. Okay. I think everything else is just a one-off thing. There are some abilities that I might add some at the end here. I don't know. Next up, Komo-o. Bulletproof. Bulletproof is so close. So very, very, very close to being a good ability. We just need to add some more moves to the list of moves that are bulletproof. So if we go here... Oh my god, please. Okay. So if we go up here, right? Bulletproof Pokemon. And we look at the list of moves that are part of Bulletproof. It's actually like a decently long list, but most of these moves are not what I would call competitively relevant moves. Like Barrage and Zap Cannon and Octazooka and Mist Ball. Can we add some moves here that would make sense? Why isn't Moonblast on this list? Moonblast is very clearly a ball and bomb move. Maybe it's because the name in Japanese is different. I don't care. Can we add Moonblast to this list? You know how many Pokemon would just benefit Moonblast being on this list? Every Pokemon with Bulletproof, with the exception of Ursaluna, would absolutely love if Moonblast was on this list. It'd be so good because they're weak to that move. What other moves? Let's see here. I'm trying to think of stuff. Pin Missile? Pin Missile should be on here. That's not super relevant, but it is a ball and bomb move, I feel like. A missile is not a million miles away. Pin Missile should be on here. I don't know. You can debate this all day, I guess, but I just... There's not enough moves on this list to make this ability worth running over Overcoat on, like, Komo-o. Or, I mean, I guess really on, like, Chestnut, it's the only ability you should run because Overgrow is a bad ability. I kind of want to add Overgrow and Blaze and stuff onto this list. I'm not going to because this video is going to be long enough without it. But Bulletproof should just be a little bit better. Just a little bit. Please. I want to say the last category of abilities on this list, it's very long, I'm sorry, are the gender-based abilities. Rivalry, Cute Charm. Rivalry. You do a little tiny bit more damage to Pokemon that are the same gender as you. You know how many Pokemon do not have genders? Do you know how many Pokemon do not have genders? A lot. A lot of Pokemon do not have genders. Rivalry just doesn't do anything to those Pokemon. It just doesn't do anything. I mean, I guess at least like this is like trash even without that because you only do 1.25. This is less than a Life Orb on Pokemon with the same gender as you, and you get a reduction on Pokemon with the opposite gender. That's stupid. Take away the half part. Maybe it'll be an okay ability. I feel like it should do more. A lot of things do 1.5. A lot of things do 1.3. 1.25 is not enough. Especially with the drawback. But also, gender abilities are stupid. Because so many Pokemon, especially really good Pokemon, like Heatran, like, I guess not the genies because they're all male. Except for Enamorus, who is female. There's like a million examples. All of the Paradox Pokemon don't have genders. All of, like... all of the Ultra Beasts, all of the legendary Pokemon except for the genies for whatever reason. Like, I just... please make Rivalry do something just a little bit better. Please. And I want to say the same thing about Cute Charm. First of all, Infatuation is a stupid mechanic. What is the move called? It is called... I don't remember what it's called. I'm just going to scroll through the list because I'm sure it's on here somewhere. Let's see. If Enamorous doesn't learn this move, why does it exist? It's like its whole purpose. Does it really not? Am I blind? I can't even remember what the name of the move is right now. It's not Charm. No. No. What is this move? Oh my god, I'm having like the largest brain fart. It's such an irrelevant move because it's so bad because you have to be the opposite gender of your opponent. And that's never guaranteed. I guess Wolfie Glick used it once because all of the genies are male and that's like the only thing you can guarantee. Except for now we have Enamorous. But anyway, Q-Charm is stupid because Infatuation is a stupid mechanic and it's a 30% chance of Infatuation. This kind of would like almost is going to send me on a tangent about Effect Spore and how like Static is just like a worse Effect Spore. But I'm not going to go on that tangent today because we have enough on this list. Maybe we'll make another one because there are so many other abilities that need to be talked about because they're stupid and they need to be changed and they need to be better or they need to just be a little bit different to make them different from other abilities. I don't know why we have 3 different versions of Dazzling. I don't know why we have like 5 different versions of Mold Breaker and they all do exactly the same thing. End of rant. I apologize. If you like this video, everybody, make sure that you leave me a big fat like. Leave me a comment. Do you agree with these things that I'm saying? Do you disagree with these things that I'm saying? Are you angry with any of these abilities? Are there other abilities that make you angry? Did I like trigger some memories for you of like things that make you angry about some abilities that you forgot? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to be a certified AndyLa fan, it is 99 cents. Link in the description if I remember to add it. If not, there's a join button like underneath the video. Be that today. If not, that's okay. You're still a good fan. Just, you know, be subscribed and watch all the videos to the very end. I very much appreciate you. With that, everybody, my name is Andrew. I'll catch you guys next time.